So the bonus points are given to any data sets that are a labor of love. So this is individuals that have gone out of their way to create a data set and share it with the open data community. And Zillow gets big bonus points because Zillow's a private company. Hey map stackers, it's map data review time, and today we're going to be looking at US property price data, and we're going to be looking at the open data that was used to create the map that you currently see on screen. Now, when I originally set out to make this map, I thought this was going to be a review of US government open property price data. But what I discovered, to my shock, to my horror, is that the US doesn't actually publish publicly that kind of data. At least if they do, I couldn't find it. If you go into Google, look for US property price data, there's nothing to be seen. I literally went through every page of Google, like 4 pages back, couldn't find anything. Compare that to the UK that we reviewed the week before, UK property price data, like literally the first result is open government data. So I was a bit disappointed and a bit despondent. So we don't get to review the US government open data because it appears that they don't publish it. So for the US government open data, we give an open data score of 0. So instead, we're going to review where we actually did find the data. And where we did find the data was from Zillow. So for those of you outside of the US, Zillow is a property listing site where you can list properties for rent and for sale, and buyers can go on and browse their catalog. And Zillow actually make all of their data openly available that can be downloaded from this page here, zillow.com/research/data. So let's jump in and let's review the Zillow data. So we're going to start with discoverability. Okay, now this was actually a little bit of a problem. Zillow and this specific data isn't within the first few pages of Google. And this was the search term that I used. It felt natural to me. If you actually use the search terms, the wording that they use, housing value data, it does a little bit better. So if we go US housing value data, and we come in here, we will see that Zillow is, it's on the first page, but it doesn't actually take you to the right page within the website. You need to go in and you need to start browsing around. Okay, so discoverability is not great. Now let's look at accessibility. So accessibility, the first thing we look at, do we get a proper description about what this data is and where it comes from? Yeah, good. The second one is, how difficult is it to actually grab the data? And to figure this out, we do the click challenge. How many clicks from the page to the raw data? In this case, it's 1 click, download. There we go. We've got the data. High marks. Okay, so we're looking pretty good in terms of accessibility and good on the click countdown. Now, in terms of the data format, the data is available as a CSV. You know, as I always say, you'll get bonus points if it's available in a map-ready format like GeoJSON or even, God forbid, a shapefile. So we don't have that, we have a CSV, but we know the score, we know what we've got to do. We're going to get the CSV into QGIS, and we're going to do a data join, and then we're going to have a map. And this is where we hit the first roadblock with Zillow. If we open up the data and we look inside the attribute table, what we will see is they use a non-standard ID. So in the US, counties all have a standard code, which is called a county FIP code. That county ID is not available in this data. So this made me think, this is going to make this challenging to do a join. I don't want to manually go in and type in, say, up to 3,000 FIP codes in here. So what am I going to do? So I thought this was a non-starter. But then I discovered this. On the Data World website, some kind soul has provided a file that they call crosswalk between Zillow and federally defined regions. This is a CSV that contains the region ID, which is the unique identifier that Zillow uses, and the county FIPS code, which is the standard ID that pretty much everybody else uses. And it's the ID that's contained within the geodata. So if we look at the geodata up on screen, I right-click on here. This is the data that I downloaded from Census.gov, I think. They have the FIPS code in here, but they haven't actually named it FIPS code. They've put it in a GeoID column, but these 5-digit IDs are the FIPS codes. So what that allowed me to do is a double join, okay? So we're going into full nerd mode here. So what I did is I took the county, I joined the crosswalk data. So now we had the county data and the Zillow region ID. And now we had that region ID, I was able to do a second join for the Zillow CSV to add the property price data. Wow, that was the mouthful. So I would say for data format, sorry, low mark Zillow. If you had have put the county VIPS code, you would have been getting a high score here, but you didn't. Next category we always look at is style points. Okay, now, okay, we're looking pretty good here. We've got human readable column names. That's great. We're not using codes here that are not understandable. And okay, the data's a bit meaty. Probably don't need to include every month since the beginning of time. But what gets big style points here is how up-to-date the data is. I'm shooting this video in January, and the latest data in here goes up to the 31st of December. So this is really up to date, and this beats out the UK. The UK open property data was about 2-3 months out of date. And the way the economy is moving at the moment, a lot can happen in 2 to 3 months. So yeah, high score in this department for Zillow. And then the final category that I like to look at is bonus points. So let's get back to the MapStack Mac here. So the bonus points are given to any data sets that are a labor of love. So this is individuals that have gone out of their way to create a data set and share it with the open data community. And Zillow gets big bonus points because Zillow's a private company. They're a for-profit company. This is very, very valuable data. And it probably costs them quite a lot of money to keep that page up to date and share it with us as a community. So big bonus points there for Zillow. So I'm going to give a final open data score to Zillow of 7.1. If it wasn't for the region ID issue that we had in the data, it could have easily pushed it up into the 8s. So great job, Zillow. Glad to see you sharing your data with the open data community. And now this data has been uploaded into MapStack, so it will be free, easy to use, and map ready and available to everyone forever for free. Goodbye.